Good morning, guys. I'm trying to get myself set up to where I can paint. Like, I have 20 of these. We're doing the Idic Beer challenge, Get It Painted challenge for 2018. So I picked up these 20 mucks, like in the very first entry video. I'll put a series of these up. Like I said, I'm not the best figure painter here on YouTube. There's some great ones. This dude right here is all freehand. There's no I can never find no decal for that. So right there's amazing artwork. And then the same with all this book here. I'm going to try to get myself painted up for a week. That way there'll be 20. It gives me like almost 2 months. You know, I work on the weekends, so I won't be able to do a whole lot. But this right here gives me some times. It gives me kind of a goal to do. I can work on it a little bit here and there. What the problem is for me right now is like waking up this morning at 7:30 in the morning here. I'm doing some laundry, then I'll go take a nap here in a little bit and get ready for work. I work evenings, so you know, I get up, do a little bit of stuff in the morning, and then probably roll around noon or something. I'll go take a little 2-hour nap before work, and then I probably won't touch nothing again until Tuesday. So what I've been doing is working on these 20 monks. You guys seen in the first video where I went into the entry video where I was talking about these and how I've worked on the plastic and added my own thing and stuff to it. What I'm working on now, I'm working on my first icon flag. You see I have a few different icon flags sitting back there. Right now I'm working on one of them. I let the kids pick out which figures to start with first. So I just been, you know, messing around. So I want to keep you guys updated. I want to give Nick Beer over there at Idic Beer on the painting challenge. He's you know, he wants some updates and stuff to follow along. I'm not on the Google Plus, so I can't follow some stuff over there, so I'm gonna make my videos here and then I'll post an update over at Idic Beer on Facebook and then probably on my own Facebook page. This right here is a challenge. I took these with me to the Games Workshop. There's a fella over there by the name of Andrew, and Andrew actually runs Skaven, the Skaven clan. If you see, that's what the Skaven is. And I was looking through some stuff. He didn't have no decals to share. He says a lot of the transfers in Warhammer are basically for your Marines and stuff like that. There's really not a whole lot of transfers for Age of Sigmar stuff, being, I don't know why. But anyway, I'll give you guys an update. One thing that I can tell you that before getting into doing miniatures, I watched a lot of videos. You know, I watched Gilbert, I watched John Sharpie, I watched Watching Paint Dry, Next Level Painting, Spiky Bits. You know, there's a lot of great painting channels over there. A&G Productions, my good friend Richard over there at the Nerd Life, Pete Gooding from Mini Warzone. There's some great figure painters over here. And then not only that, Atomic Dog, Brian, he would always share picture videos of his minis and stuff, and you would think, watching some of these videos, you see these guys get a handful of paint out, right? And you're like, there's no way that one little thing is having paint out, because when we do an interior, guys, we usually have a main color that we spray with the spray paint, and then you have your secondary color that you're doing, like maybe if you want to do C inserts or dash detail. Then you have the third color, which is usually silver, to do the metalwork. So we're talking 3 colors. Just to give you guys an example, my paint rack looks empty because over here is all the colors I've been using on this one figure that I'm painting now. It's amazing how we got a shade, another shade just for the different areas of skin I'm doing. Then you got 4 different things to do. I have 4 colors in these little blades here. I'll give you guys an update in a minute, but there's 4 different colors, 5 different colors in these blades. And then you got 1, 2, 3, you know, we're talking body colors, clothing colors, flesh colors. It's just, it's fun to get in here and mix your paints and stuff. So what I want to do is, let's shut this off. What I want to do is update you guys on what I'm doing on the Idic Beer challenge. So I have 20 plague monks to do. They all come in this one set. So last week when I got these, I spent most of the week converging stuff. You know, I looked on eBay, and was trying to do some stuff, you know, with the blades and stuff to make it my own, because I couldn't, you know, these right here are basically 5 figures multiplied 4 times to get your 20, and I didn't want them all looking the same. So, you know, I was trying to rack my mind up on things to do. You know, this right here looks like this guy is playing Fruit Ninja. And so what I've done is, so far this is the first one. Let's see, I'm trying to get my lighting just right. Right here I added a skull on there, and I'm doing the tinning and stuff. You can see where I've highlighted everything. This guy right here, I added the skull. I cut hands off and twisted the hands. And you can see the rust and stuff in the blades. I used a thing called lead belcher, and then I did a Cyphus corrosion, and then I did riser rust, and then I went over it with Agrax Earthshade, and then run through there, and then, you know, it's just a lot of details. The teeth were awesome to do, the little eyes and the ears. This little dude has an earring. This dude, I made this dude look like he's like screaming and running into the crowd, and he got both blades out. He's just gonna go in there taking people out at the, you know, being Rat Man, they're kind of short. They're gonna go in there and take people out at the waist. And then here's the second one. I'm working on that riser rust, trying to get the rust down just right. And then I'm gonna, once I learn the system on doing this rusting stuff, I'm going to be able to transfer that over to the automotive. Like I was going to say, I woke up this morning, and you know, it's negative. With the wind chill here, it's negative 25 degrees. So, you know, I can't do no big painting like I would with the automotive. So this right here keeps me busy during, I found out that these miniatures will keep me busy during the winter time. But I got big plans. Oops. I got big plans. We got a lot of stuff lined up for the automotive side of the channel. Here in the next few weeks when the weather starts changing. But guys, these are a blast. I would recommend you guys go out there. We gave some figures away during our very last raffle last year. But man, I'm having a blast painting these. And since these are all the same, if you can see in this video, in this picture here, these guys are all green. Basically, they're all the same color. So I'm going to keep these guys all the same color. I'm just going with my own color scheme. There's cheap miniatures you guys can start with. You got stuff called Reapers. Reaper has a few different series. They have the Reaper Bone series. They have Reaper, they just a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff. There's resin ones on eBay. We have a set from Savage Forged Minis that was donated by Red Dragon Model Works. Gilbert over there sent me some stuff to help promote my channel and to, you know, keep the figure painting side of my channel growing strong. If you guys follow Red Dragon Model Works page, he does both figures and automotives, some tanks, some planes, some great inspiration out of that channel. A lot of guys that follow his Styrene Syndicate page, not only on Facebook but also on YouTube. Great inspiration there. And like I said, we support a lot of different channels here, guys. So look into some of our liked videos, some of our comment videos, like this comment video for Idic Beer. You know, there's some great painters over there at International Scale Modeler. You can find they have a Facebook page, a Google Plus page, a YouTube page. A lot of great talent over there, from military to planes to automotive to figures. You got some great artists over there on that channel. So, you know, just go out there and find your inspiration. Here's what I'm working on now. Since there's no decals for the banners, I got on Google Images and looked up some Skavian emblems. I kind of picked a hard one. When you look online at pictures for Skavian rats, there's a lot of people. Come on, focus. There's a lot of people using the regular Skavian symbol. Let's see. A lot of people paint this symbol right there, if you can see that, which is not a bad symbol. It's just kind of easy. And some of the guys with the clan rats, they're using this symbol here, because that symbol there is within the clan rat shield. I picked something a little bit harder. These guys worship the horn rat. So that's why, you know, I put a skeleton on top of this dude here. I added a skeleton to this banner. Come on. I added a horn skeleton to this banner here. And you can see these little symbols here, the triangles with the horn. That's the horn rat symbol. Come on. They have a whole alphabet. There's a whole picture thing in there. Right now, that's done. I done this with pencil so far. I'll turn around here in a minute and start painting it. I am doing this video live. It's easier for me to do things live. If I don't answer your questions, guys, I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to do a video for the Idic Beer update. I'm doing it live. I really wish once this video is posted, you guys would go back, leave your comments, and let me know what you guys think. And I'm not done with automotive. I'm just staying busy during the winter. A lot of my automotive stuff, if you guys have followed my channel for a while, I use a lot of real automotive paints, body fillers, and all that. And when the temperature gets to a wind chill of -25, my hobby room is in the basement, which is heated, but it brings the temperature down a lot. So really affects the paint, some fogging, some bubbling in the clear if I use the wrong type of activator this time of year. And so this right here keeps me busy. So for the next few months, you know, I'll be working on the figures, but I'll also be able to do automotive as soon as the weather comes back up. So please stay tuned if you're not interested in interested into the miniatures. I will be getting back to the automotive stuff. Just to relate to Punch's question he just posted, these are called 28 millimeters, so I think like a 156 scale Punch. Let me do a size comparison for Punch real quick. Let me see, where's my kits? I got some German military figures here. Now these figures here I've already promised to our good friend Brett from ISM. I promised these to him when I was building my tank and everything. Here is a 1/35 scale figure next to the Rat Man. And then let's do this. Here's the 1/35 scale tank that it came with. So you see the height there. And then if this didn't have a pin in the foot, you could see the difference. I use 3 times magnifying glasses like this. A lot of the gentlemen I know that build, an array of stuff through the hobby, their cheaters are the headbands, which I have the headbands here, but for me, they didn't get close enough. The headband didn't get close enough to the work for me. So what I did is I went and got a 3 times pair of reading glasses instead of these magnifiers. These magnifiers are 2.5. I didn't like wearing the hood. I just didn't like the strap. There's some very expensive hoods that some of our artists are using, figure painters are using. Once I actually started painting figures, I started looking at these. I'm a man of my word, so these are going to go to Brett, like I've stated before. 1973. Heck, I was not even born yet. I was still a stain on my dad's sheets in 73. There's a lot of great stuff in here you can paint now that I've learned to slow down and paint miniatures. Look at their grenades. I don't know, would this be in World War II? I don't know, would this be an Alaskan? They have the different, this right here. They have different things right here. Imagine being in a fight, and if you're not a sniper, having a single fire gun. That'd be scary. But the different arm positions and stuff. I follow a channel, Cohen C. If I'm going to be honest, I like his work. I like his dioramas. He calls them vignettes. He has an offensive attitude sometimes towards other things going on in the community. And so if you don't take to what he's saying, he can come off as being arrogant or cocky. I know Hunter Selby, a good friend of the channel, great supporter of the channel. He has fought with people's attitudes and comments over the years, and I like the channel because of what I can learn from it. I like the channel because his talent. I might not per se like the channel because of him personally, when it comes to his views and beliefs on some things going around in the community, or I don't care about anyone's religious beliefs. I don't care about anyone's political beliefs. We're all entitled to that. I keep my channel hobby based. But there is some great channels out there to learn from. Maybe not some of the best channels to build a relationship with, if I should say, you know what I mean? But just this week, our friend Dredd over there at Solvent Abuse UK, he started a diorama, which is very, very exciting for me because he's used some broken up concrete. He has a female figure. He has one of his mech figures and like a charging station, everything going on in this little vignette, or I say vignette because I was referring to Cohen. Cohen calls all his dioramas vignettes. He's got some great, not to get off the subject, what I was going to say about Dread's new diorama, but Cohen, see, he literally will capture a moment in time in his vignettes. You're literally looking at a 3D picture, almost historically, over there on Cohen's channel, because when Cohen does his vignettes, he gets pictures, he knows the story behind it. Some of his stories are all the way down to the soldiers' names, soldiers' positions, and some of the pictures that he is capturing is a tank sliding down a hill in one of his vignettes, and it's got 3 or 4 other tanks up on top of the hill to help recover him. It's got the soldiers standing around smoking a cigarette or drinking from a canteen, and they're like talking, and they're going to be like talking and reviewing the situation, all the way to his vignettes of being a fight going through a town, kind of like Saving Private Ryan. One of my favorite parts is where Vin Diesel gets shot. He's laying down on the ground, and the sniper hits him 2 or 3 times because he won't stay moving. He won't stop moving. And inside this thing, they're talking about how to, when Vin Diesel's laying down on the ground like this, getting shot, these guys are up in the busted down building trying to find the sniper. And within the vignette, I mean, it's the broken wall, it's the snipers behind the wall looking through the window. It's so much detail. It's like telling you a story. And that's one thing that I really enjoy about Cohen's channel. And then Dread, like I said, Dread will build things from the whole damn town. The table's like 8 pieces, and he's built the whole town just to play a game, you know. Just some great inspirational channels out there, guys. So I'm going to put that up. And I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but I can talk your ear off. Alright, let's get back to our painting challenge for Idic Beer. Today I want to work on this. I got to finish the woe staff. This is what they call this in the story. I need to finish that. I got some brass pieces. See if I can't show you that. We got some brass pieces to put on the stick here. We got to do some of this rope and some of these bits. I want to do this for the Idic Beer challenge. Not only just give an update, but also try to do some painting on live. See, what if I open this up a little bit, move the camera around, that way we can actually see more of what we're doing. I think I put crimson. Now what I did with the flesh, I went with the medium, I went with the basic skin tone, which is kind of a little pink. And then I went with crimson. Instead of Axrath Earthshade, I went with the little crimson shade over the top of it. My goal when I was switching over from enamels to acrylics is, at the time, me and Pete at ScaledWorld.net were picking up Vallejo stuff from Scale Hobbyist in New Hampshire, and they had sets. We were buying sets every month to get our paint rack stocked up. And now that I'm going to the figures, I've been hanging out at the Games Workshop place and watching some other painters, because this is something I'm really interested in, guys. I've been trying to transfer over a little at a time some of the better Citadel stuff. Gilbert, I mentioned Red Dragon Model Works a few times this morning. Gilbert did a comparison of some folk art stuff versus some other Citadel paints, Reaper paints, MP3s and AKs and stuff like that. So with some of Gilbert's suggestions, I've picked up like the Lead Belcher. Then the guys at Games Workshops, their job is to promote Citadel stuff because that's what they're ran and owned by. But really have been enjoying, like I stated before, I didn't really care for the Vallejo Silver. To me, it's just a white with some metallic in it, but it takes so long to get it to actually turn to a silver color that I'm actually losing details trying to get it silver. So we went with this Lead Belcher, and then we went with this Rack Fang Steel, and right now we're really happy. And then for the rust that I've been doing, we've been going with some comments from the community over there at the 40K site and some of the other sites. We're basing things with Lead Belcher. We're going over with Typhus Corrosion, and then you wouldn't believe it, but this bright orange, this Riser Rust, is what we're using for the rust. And I mean, guys, it's like a fluorescent orange. Look how orange that is. But man, it's working out great. You just need a little bit of it. It's a super thick thing that, that's why they say it's a dry. You're supposed to, like rub it on instead of paint it on. I can't wait to transfer these 2 steps over to the automotive side to get some realistic rust, because this right here is kind of somewhat gritty. Now that I don't know if you can see that in the camera view, but see the way that rust is, it's a bit gritty. It's going to be great for the service rust type of stuff. Now on the butcher blades, where'd that figure go? I went a little bit thicker on this one, and you see the outcome. I mean, that's going to be beast on a 1/24 scale. I can see us rusting the car with Blair Plexier steps, but rusting the metal work, like your bumpers and stuff, with the Citadel step, because that's looking great now, and it's easily controlled, so you can actually put it right where you wanted it to be. Where Blair's step is basically an all over surface rust, this right here would be along your thick cancerous rust. Alright, so let's work on the woe staff today, guys. So what we're going to do now is I want to go with, make my own, so that way all my little paints and stuff are at hand. I got me a little tray and stuff that I'm using now. And like, if you guys want to sit down and just enjoy some YouTube throughout the day, Idic Beer posted up a new video today. His channel's full of videos. Warhammer channel, they just did they're doing, oh man, Duncan and them had started painting one of the new Nurgles, Great Unclean Ones, and man, I can't wait to get that figure. But he's pretty expensive. So what I want to do now, I'm going to do some of the metal. Let's do some of the metal work on here for a little bit, and then I want to do the ties down for the skull right there. And then you can see, man, this thing is, for being so small, it's full of detail. I'm going to do this right here in a bone color, and do that right there in a claw color, make it look like the handle was made out of a bone. Then again, you can see the engravings of the rat, and it's on both sides. This kit I have here, focus you dummy. There it goes. This kit here with all 20 figures was about $35. So you get 20 figures at $35. So you're getting around $1.50 a figure. It seems expensive when you're going to buy the kits, but once you start actually acquiring stuff, there's another thing I wanted to share. Made me a box of my own Warhammer bits. between the skulls that I wanted to keep. Different things that I was saving from the extras from the monks. When I get the bases ready to go, look at all these little rats. Andrew, the guy I've been talking to, getting ideas with, from Games Workshop, he goes in there on Friday. So after I do my running around, I stop in there Friday for 20-30 minutes and talk to him. But he just bought a new kit, and he has even smaller rats in that kit. So he's going to use what he's going to use, and then after that, he might share a few of the smaller rats with me. But so just like on the 1/25th scale, nothing's going to go to waste. We're going to use everything. My wife, when we were in Mexico, my wife picked me up these big old skulls, and they're all carved and everything. I want to cast these just so I can paint them. I mean, I don't know if I'll paint how much on the Aztec guy I can really paint, but it's got a lot of great artwork engraved in this one. But on this one here, all those roses, man, this would be a blast to paint. I would like to get one of these done and send it to Gilbert, just because I love the way Gilbert does all his different works, and I know he could turn this into something beautiful. Really enjoyed these Day of the Dead skulls. They had a whole bunch of different ones. These are the two that caught my eye because of the Indian heritage in here. And this one with these Aztec Mayans, and then this right here just spoke to me for some reason. If you're a tattoo guy, a lot of tattoos are based around skulls, a lot of different roses. The vines are really popular. So my whole sleeve here, if you guys haven't noticed, it's all skulls, and it's skulls and dragons and stuff like that. So this right here is something that I would love to copy and do. Maybe I'll get some material throughout this year and maybe do one of these for Idic's challenge next year. But you gotta look with all the green work. With all the green work you would have in there and all the flower colors and stuff, man, you could go wild on this. Like our buddy Rick Zink has the rat in his thing. Everybody has a mascot. All right, so let's get to the brass tacks here. I think I'm going to go with old gold. Here's another color. I think I want to go with old gold for some of the metal work. And what's great is, like, you just have to use, when you're working with this, you just have to use just a little bit. Then what I do is get me a medium brush. Well, we're using a 3. Let's go with the 10. No, that's a 0. They've been trying to teach me at Games Workshop. They've been trying to teach me how to use one size brush for everything. Here we're going to use a 10. We'll use a 10 from my precision line. Come on, get it. From my Princeton Select short liner. And then what I do is just let's pan out just a little bit so you guys can actually see some. I do just barely dip the tip in the water, and I come out. Now, our buddy Luke over at Luke's Affordable Painting Service, he does a lot of scenery, and he chooses not to wet his down. He just likes to use the paint and move it around, but that's his forte, you know what I mean? Me watching the Warhammer channel, stuff like Nick painting and stuff like that, when Nick over at Idic Beer is painting, to me, it moves it around a little better when it's this small. I'm excited to see that some of these companies are updating molds and getting us new product out there, not just the car models, but there's a lot of new stuff coming for guys that really where their forte is miniatures, or would it be gaming or whatnot. I know me, I'm a Nurgle fan because of the story and because of the gore and stuff, and it's what firstly piqued my interest in getting into the figure painting. They're bringing out a whole new, all kinds of new stuff now. There's a resin company called Forged World. They have a Great Unclean one that I would love to build, but it'd be the same Great Unclean one that everybody was building, because it's a big clump of resin. The way the sword has to be set up, it's basically what some of us would call a monotoe build, loaded with detail, but it's going to be the same detail. So the only variations that you would have seen of that figure would be, basically some color variations. You really wouldn't have nothing of your own that stood out. And it was roughly $170 for us US guys. By the time you put in our shipping to the US, great looking piece. And I don't have $170 to put into one figure, let alone into the hobby. Wife, kids, medical bills, that kind of stuff. Could you imagine I order $140 resin and bought one kit? I couldn't, some of the dedications these guys have for the game, And I guess if I was the full hardcore, had to do it, had to get it for my team, I would pick it up. But to me, I'm looking at, if I bought, let me see, where is it? I buy a $200 69 Impala kit, still brand new. Let me show you guys this. I buy this $200 Impala kit. It's still brand new in the box. All the parts. I've updated the hood because somebody cut a big hole in the hood. So right here's a $7 hood. It's got new bumpers and chrome from Model Haus. Where are all those pieces? It's got new bumpers and chrome from Model Haus in here. There's the new tail lights. Here's the new bumpers. So you got $7. How much is that bumper? $5 for the bumpers a piece. The tail lights were $3. New windows, just to update all the stuff, because back in the day when these were packaged, the tires, see those tires in that bag, somehow they would melt the windows for some reason. And so you got a kit like that. Somebody had started it, but this kit runs anywhere from $100 to $200. I can build this kit any way I want. It would be mine. It only came out in '69. The mold was then, supposedly, the mold was a revamp for the 1970 version. you know, I can make this anything I want, and you won't see two the same 69s on the table, or very many 69s on the table at all. But, you know, if I was to buy the $140 ungrade clean one, basically the only things that would stand out would be that a color variant, you know, and so I don't know if it's because of the figures properties in the game that a lot of people were striving for, but now Games Workshop has actually opened up the molds and have opened up the molds and stuff, and actually started releasing a great unclean one in plastic, and it's got different bellies, different heads. So you know that would be a $140 kit worth getting. Okay, I want to paint that banner, but I did all that work is in pencil right now. I just took a pencil and tried to do it out. I want to detail the skulls, but I'm also nervous. So I'm I keep talking myself out of doing it. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you guys. I made this little tray out of MDF. That way the brushes I actually would use are right here by me. The gentleman that does some very, very, really good painting over there for Games Workshop at the store that I can go to, he recommended me using something clear to wash my brushes. That way, he says you can put your brush up here and roll it per se, versus just doing this, because you're really not getting the paint out of your bristles. So you could do it here, and when you do it clear, you could tell you're really not breaking your bristles, you're just using it to push the paint out. Just something I wanted to share with you guys that I learned from Ray over there. Guys, if I didn't get to sit down with Ray and watch Ray paint, I would swear he was airbrushing stuff, but he can do some blending with the brush it is just crazy. Alright, so now let's go with this. We're going to do a light brown and try to do... Get on that. Then just a little dab of that. A little bit of water. We're staying with our tin. Ray's been trying to teach me how to use a brush versus keep flipping keep going through, because I have some itty bitty fine ones. Look at this little bitty 18. Look at this little bitty 18. You know, compared to the 10 I'm using. See if we can't level them up. There you go. But I've been trying to do everything. Now I still use the 18 when it comes to like the eyeballs and stuff. Can you guys see in my back end camera view? Yeah, there you go. And like Gilbert will say in his videos, sometimes when Gilbert's painting, we like to have music going on and stuff to concentrate, but when you go to do your videos, you can't do that. Our buddy Darren over there at Tokyo Model Detective and Edgar, they keep getting in trouble for playing either videos or music when they're doing their live Facebook videos, and the damn copyright Nazis keep banging on them. And I think Darren's on a 72-hour ban right now, and it's like, I was watching the new Dave Chappelle comedy thing, and he made the comment, when did everybody get so damn sensitive and butthurt over everything? You know what? I'm going to do the details on this with the wash. So let's just go ahead and get that. That way we get all the sides. One thing I really like about the Vallejo and Citadel colors, they're easy to clean up. I can go right back over, like that little brown I messed up right there. I can go right back over it. Now I had asked Richard over at the Nerd Life. He does a weekly Q&A, and on one of his Q&As I asked, when you're doing a project like this, and I got 20 dudes to do, I want them all painted the same, how would someone go about keeping all the colors together? And he suggested getting a notebook and writing down the steps. So that's what I done. And that way, if I have to walk away, if I have to go to work this afternoon, I'm doing laundry now. The kids will be up pretty soon. It's Saturday morning here. The kids will be up pretty soon, so once they wake up, I'll have to go upstairs and attend to them before I lay down for my nap. So we'll do that right there before I have to lay down for my nap. So what he's, when you got to move away and do something else, how does one artist keep to know what he's actually been through when you have so many different paints a working, and that's when he addressed get yourself a notebook and write all your colors down, and a vague point of where your colors go. Like I can put down my flesh, just write down flesh, and you can write down basic skin tone or medium flesh base, depending upon what you're using it for. My darker rats, it's going to be a medium flesh base, and then Axrath Earth shade over it. And then for the elders, according to the lore, the more valuable a person, the lighter their skin color. The darker they are, the more wasteful they are. Like, basically, they call some of these guys just body counts. That's why some players run so many of these rats, is because you can run them in there like kamikazes. They're going in there and they're going in there to pave the way for your bigger soldiers to come in there and do damage. In the Scavians, they have a Hellbrute. They have a lot of bigger mutated rats. They have some big rat ogres that run with this army. So what they're doing, they're running 100 of these plague monks. They're going to run them in there to wound, to get some bodies on the ground, to wound, and then the heavy wreckers come running in there, and then they'll cause their damage. Well, I'm going to let some of this stuff dry before I go back in there and touch it up. Let's go work on his blade. He's got a big nut. That looks like a bolt or nut thing on his wrist, I just now noticed. I haven't done his skin yet. I don't know if he was going to be a gray rat or a brown rat or a black rat yet. I really love how I did the gray on this guy. I like the gray look. So I don't know if we're going to go him with gray, because once we get the gray, I'm going to blend some of the gray right here on his arm. I'm going to bring some gray out underneath this ribbon here, or cloak band, whatever, and then we still got to do the teeth and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do right now is pull out some white. We'll pull out some white and do the blade and do his teeth. So I like to use all white. Oh. If I turn this on, does the light get too bright? It gets a little bright, don't it, guys? It is so cold down here, I'm using my heat lamp. Got a little heat lamp. And what I like about it is I can unscrew my lid, put down my little bit of white that you saw right there, and put this back. And gets it out of the way. Talking about Nick and his channel, this morning he released an update on his Noise Marines, and he's got some pretty good ideas coming with some different arms that he's working with. He got guitars. Doing the bone handle right now. Now for me, guys, my channel is built for me to share what I enjoy and love to do with you guys that choose to follow my channel. I know not everybody can reply, and hell, for that matter, who knows how many of my subscribers are not just generated subscribers that are actually really subscribers. But one of my subscribers, Jason, he passed away a week ago. And I knew he wasn't doing well, but I didn't keep that much in contact with him. And but I seen on his page that he had had some health issues for a couple years. He had passed away. So hearts and prayers go out to Jason and his family. I know he had some younger kids. I think one of his boys was just getting ready to graduate. But he was always a good supporter. Hadn't been able to build in a few years, but still enjoyed watching the channel and would leave comments when he was able to. So 2018 really hadn't started off all that well for that family. What do you guys think of that? Get that little skull, bone skull. What made me want to do this in bone is, you know, you see those guys with the custom pistol handles in ivory and stuff. Our friend Patrick Hancock, he has been not really building a whole lot of models here lately, but he's been doing some super neat leather work, and he's been making some really cool gun holsters. Then, like you guys see, CT posted a video up this week. That was great to see him back. Dr. Cranky and CT had taken a break from modeling and were doing some guitars. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I'll clean up his mouth here in a minute with some green some green, and get his teeth looking all green and dirty. I don't know, it made it look like he's foaming at the mouth, didn't I? Get that cleaned up here in a minute. Then let's do a bit of a claw looking on his handle piece. We're gonna go with a desert yellow. Oop, a little too much there. It's alright, that'll dry out here in a minute. I don't show my face as much as Nick and Richard do. But I always like the way they say, okay, they do their update and then they say, okay, let's go table down. Alright. You know what? I think I want to do, I like that color. Now I recommend you guys make your own assumptions when you're buying your hobby stuff. I'm going to be talking about stuff that I enjoy to use, that I know how to work with, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be the best for you and your project. So don't take it to heart and say, well, this is exactly what Minnie uses, so I'm going to use it, because I would hate for you guys to be discouraged. Like I told a young man at work that I was training at work, I don't know how to teach you the right way. I don't really know what's the wrong way, but I'm going to teach you the way I know of, because it's the best of what I'm used to using. Thought to do we'll do some red touch-ups on that later on. And then basically right here is just my old wash bottles. If you can see this right here, I don't have enough eyedropper bottles to transfer this over yet. But basically what I did is took it out full of rocks, put a peg in there, and then I can hold it and paint. Now here's where it's going to get fun. Oh, man. Let's mahogany brown. Always give your good paints a good shake. Go back with some mahogany brown. Now, where did my brush go? Now we're going to go back in here and do some touch up. Might be the quietest I've ever been on camera. Hello, Nick. Guys, Nick is here from Idic Beer. If you guys had a trouble finding his channel, go over there, hit his icon right there, and go subscribe. You'll be able to see some of the other items on his channel, and you can also go to the top of YouTube and look at the type in Get It Painted Challenge and see if you see something you're interested to. And he stated it doesn't have to be a figure. It can be anything that you've been working on to get done. Nick, I know you're on lunch break, but here's the update I was giving him. You can watch the rest of this video. Right now I'm working on one of the icon bearers. I just penciled all that in first. That way I couldn't find a decal for it. So I penciled that in. I'm going to try to paint it. I'm kind of intimidated. But right now I've been working on his sword, some of the other banners, some of the other stuff, and then I'm getting everything ready to do a wash just on the banner and stuff. And then I'm going to try to get four. I'm trying to get 4 done a week. So I gotten this guy here done out of the 20. And then I've gotten my Hellraiser done. You know, since these guys worship the horned rat, I've added some skulls. And like you can see on the banner, I added that top. Come on, focus. I added that top skull to that banner. Then doing some rusting on the blades and whatnot. Really appreciate all you do on your channel to keep a guy like me motivated. Really like your update on the Noise Marines that you did. Thanks, Nick, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm fixing to switch a load of laundry, get the kids up for breakfast, and take a nap before I head to work. I work evenings, you work days, so we're kind of opposite. But this is what I choose to do today. I want to do 4 a week. That way I can get these 20 done, say, by March. Get these 20 done by March and hopefully be able to take part of your terrain challenge. So you've been a great inspiration to me, Nick. Really enjoy your channel. I enjoy the way you get your family involved too, bud. And I wanted to make a Necron video, and I wanted to do some like candies and some other stuff, and I just didn't get around to it. Nick is doing a video, guys, for a secret giveaway. Nick and his daughter are big Necron fans. It's a faction within 40K, and in order to get this surprise, you have to make a video, and you have to give your best Necrons, you know, and his daughter does it really good. And I was going to do, like, we have a candy called Neckos. I was going to do Neckos. I was like, no, that's not it. I was going to do Nutter Butters. Like, no, that's not it. Nutella. You know, I had this whole N-word thing I was going to scream out and then do Necrons at the end, but I didn't have a chance to. But you guys still have a chance to do that. He's also doing a giveaway, a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. Go over there, and you need to go in there and you need to go over there on his video, and you have to leave a comment Necron for the Spellcrow for the win. Spellcrow is a resin company that offers a lot of upgrade stuff for Warhammer figures and some other things for the hobby. Nick right now is using a lot of the Spellcrow Noise Marine stuff to update his Noise Marines. Noise Marines haven't had an update in several millenniums is what they do. You know, you got 30K, 40K, you know, 5th edition, 6th edition, and so they haven't been updated in a while. So Nick is updating his with using Spellcrow stuff. Nick, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, bud. Thanks for your support this morning over here, bud. I'm going to do his wrist in Rackfang Silver. Let's see. Kind of turned on my heat lamp for a minute and kind of took out my... Yes, thank you, bud. Yeah, Idic's got a pretty full page, guys. Lots of different videos, lots of different things. His latest conversion was he took a demonette from Slanesh and modified it, gave it some different heads, doing some magnetization. Just full. It's just full of a bunch of very, very neat. They got a thing called green stuff out, and it's like the milliput I tried to show you guys for the automotive stuff, and he'd done a lot of green stuff work to it, and I'm just getting a silver highlight over the top of this blade. And need some water in there, a little thick. So it's neat to see him. If you guys ever get into the figure painting stuff, he does a lot of his own conversions, making stuff his own. He shared his Necron army the other day, like showcased it, and you want to talk about a huge army. I could only imagine the time he's put into getting his army together and painted and stuff like he shared. Some of the old figures used to be metal, and he's like polished them, enhanced them, and washed them, and they look Terminator-ish, if I should say, if I was comparing to stuff that you guys could relate to. Very Terminator looking. They are just crazy. Okay, then we gotta highlight some of the chain. Basically what I'm doing here, guys, is just taking the highest parts of the chain and putting a little highlight on them. This Rackfang steel is great for that, just to give it some color definition. So then, alright, here's what we're going to do now. This guy's almost ready, guys, to paint. I mean, to wash. I said to paint. I've already been painting. Where is my deck tan? I need some. Now, what I'm using to base my skulls with is I'm using Vallejo deck tan instead of just a white. It helps give it an off-white color. I got a skull there on his robe we need to do. Then he needs a belt. Then I'm going to get him done. I'll wash. I'll give it a wash. I'm going to see what the pencil work. I'm going to see what the pencil work looks like after I give it a wash, and just to see. Just to see. Can you guys see that on my end? My end frame here. Now I already washed this with the green, but I'll go back over it with an Agrath Earthshade here in a minute. and then we'll do some highlights and stuff. Once I put a wash on this, I let it set for a while, so that way it dries. The wash takes a little bit longer to dry. So there you got that. Alright, let's do a belt. I've been doing flat ground for the belt. Now, some of you guys know that, you know, it's expensive to start your paint collection over, but so far I've been very happy and satisfied for doing so. Now, your Citadel paints are a little bit higher than your Vallejo paints, but I will admit, after using both the Citadel and the Vallejo range of stuff, like I said, I haven't used Army Painter. I know Luke uses a lot of the Army Painter. There's several other channels that I followed that like to use Army Painter, and then several that still use the Vallejo stuff. But I like the way it dries, the way you thin it, the way you could store it. I mean, it's not like the old enamels where I was going through bottles all the dang time because they would dry out, or, you know, I'm sitting here trying to paint a model and I wasn't using a paint palette with the enamels, so you have your lid open while you're trying to paint, and then you start getting that gummy, crusty thing over the top of them, and it was not a good deal. Not a good deal at all. I got some spillover, but I'm not worried about that because we're going to we'll do the wash, and then when we get the wash done, we usually are able to go back in there and do highlights. We'll cover those up. All right, now I am gonna go back to a bigger brush. Nope, not that. Right here, I need that tan again. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to darken up some of the horns like I did on this guy here. I'm going to darken up some of the horn. What I'm going with is a little bit of burnt umber. I need to shake that up more. Guys, another great channel to go watch live is Gilbert. Like I said, he does a lot of his live on Facebook. When his grandson ain't around, he's great to watch live. Trying to think who's some of the other painters that go live. I can't think of them right offhand. Okay, I'm gonna take a stiffer brush right here. I'm just getting on the tips of the paint, not so much a dry brush, but I just want to do some of the tips of the horns like this. I want to bring it down a little bit and let it fade out. Kind of like that. And then once we start getting some wash on it, it'll look a lot better. Right there, I might have put a little too much. So go back in there, wipe it off. Get some of that off your brush. Go back in there. And this is stuff that, you know, you'll learn from watching some of the great channels that we have that offer us some great stuff on there. Alright. Now all I'm doing on here is using what's in the brush to come back in. Or use what's in the brush to come back and highlight that. Alright. So you see, that's the way those horns look now. Just barely do that. And kind of just like dirtied them up a little bit. Alright. Now, here's where it gets fun. Let's do, so I can do the Agzrath Earth Shade over everything, let's put in some Typhus Corrosion right here. Make sure we shake this up. Oop. What we're going to do, we're going to put this Typhus Corrosion over some of this other stuff. Alright, I'm going to go over some of the chain first. Give it a bit of a, we'll still go back over and do it some highlight here in a minute. Over some of the chain. Not over a whole lot of the bale, but a little bit over the bale. Over the chain. Just to give it some weathered look. Alright, now we're going to go a little bit heavier on the blade. Don't let that build up there for a minute. See how rich? See how rich that got in the rust to look? Just enough. And then what I'll do is I'll put some, as soon as that dries, we'll get some of that riser rust on there, guys. Give me a drink of my Joe here. So you guys go over there, like I said a minute ago, go over there, give Nick's channel a look. Even if you're not into the figure painting, give Nick's channel a look. Maybe you'll see something that you find is, you know, applicable for your place in the hobby. Let me do this right here. I'm going to get it a little... You're supposed to do it dry, but I like doing it a little wet. Because it is really thick. And you may not realize what his channel can offer you until you get over there and take a look at it. I mean, that's how some of you guys came to enjoy my channel. You guys gave me a chance, and now you guys are enjoying it, you know what I mean? So we'll let that right there get there. Alright. Now we're going to give everything a wash of Agrass Earthshade. Guys, there's other great channels in here. I'm just going to comment on a post I just saw. Dustin over at Hinterland. He was a gentleman that came in to follow me. Asked a few automotive questions, just a few. Was new to the YouTube side of it, and he just had some information on something that I built. We shared information, talked to each other for a little bit on Facebook. Then he did a tank build, and he had, you know, really evolved since then. And he found himself really enjoying some of the early war tanks. So much so that he's picked up several, done some dioramas with them, and has been winning some awards. He's been taking them to some contests and getting some great feedback from them. I'm going to Agrass Earthshade the skulls, and then Serpine Sepia the banner. And when I do the wash, guys, I just dip it straight in the wash right there, and then I just mop it on. Just do something like this. And then it stays in all the... Am I still in camera view? Yeah. And then it will stay in all the crevices and stuff. And then once it all dries, I'll go back and do some highlighting and what have you. And like I said, these are techniques that I like to use. Everybody has their own different techniques. So, depending upon who you decide to, I don't want to say cherish, but whoever you decide to put your friendship in, and like to follow or whatnot, be open-minded that we're all entitled to our own opinions. We're all entitled to, you know, make mistakes and stuff like that. Support your favorite channels by commenting and replying, and like when Nick did this Get It Painted challenge, he did it a couple years in a row now. Show your support by getting involved in it. It's pretty neat. You'll be surprised how much you'll enjoy it your darn self, you know what I mean? And look at that blade before I wash it. Just like that texture now. I wasn't liking the rust at first because I didn't know, I wasn't laying it down, getting the right look that I wanted, per se. And then I just slowed down, asked some questions from a few of the different groups, and really liking the steps that some of those guys care to share. Talking with some of you guys personally, either through here or through Facebook, it is amazing how we still have some parts of the hobby where gentlemen think they can't share what they've known and learn over the years, like it's still a big secret. But that's to teach their own. That's how they feel that their hobby is placed them. So don't get discouraged. Just keep asking your questions. I guess I want to say stay motivated to do what you want to do, and then you can work around the roadblocks. Many roadblocks I've had coming to this hobby, moving forward in this hobby, and I learned that I want to do it to please me. I enjoy the comments that you guys give feedback on, but for the most part, I'm building it the way I want to build it, and I thank you guys for letting me do that and not raging, I guess. You know what I'm trying to say. Because I've seen, there's other pages and there's other communities out there that really, I don't want to say they flip a wig, but they're set in their ways, and if it's not going the way they want a certain situation to go, sometimes that causes a drift among members and what have you, and things get array. One of the good guys I like to follow. I know there's a couple of you guys that can't stand him just because of his political views, but that's the beauty of being on the internet. we all got our own. All you see is my big fat hand. All I'm doing here, guys, is washing. I traded out that Agrest Earthshade we used on the skulls, and now I'm using Serapine Sepia to do the woe stick and do some aging on here. That's what I like about the different washes. I still want to pick up all the washes that the UMP product sells. These right here were I wanted to try these. I wanted to try these because a lot of people are swearing by the Citadel washes. Now the washes that our buddies over there at UMP sell, they got winter, they got concrete, they got dirt, dark dirt, they got a bunch of different washes that I want to try and pick up sooner or later. Gotta make sure I don't hit these skulls. Before doing figures, the only wash I would do, guys, would be a black wash on the damn grills and the black wash on, say, a motor to get the motor look oily and dirty. And here, mostly Dustin, mostly it's Facebook, and you got now Dirk Pitt has a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. Now Dirk's views don't get really far off base, but when you get him, when you get Dirk mixed up with, say, Steve Zimmerman, those those two guys will keep you hilarious because you know, they each got a different political view, but yet they have the same mind frame on others, which is funny. And I like how Dirk is more informative politically, and Steve is more, I want to say, yeah. And then I want to say that, you know, Steve is more, he wants to let you know he's doing, that things are wrong per se, and Dirk will talk about what may be wrong and what may be able to be fixed, versus one of them just always saying, you know, what they say. Yeah. Like his latest, Dustin, his latest was on the Walmart and Sam's hiring and firing with the raise and everything. I will admit, I work for Walmart. I only work 3 days a week for Walmart, but I've done that for 13 years. I get my hours in 3 days than most would do all week. I'm paid far better than in the stores. I work a lot harder than they do in the stores. And the new rumor coming out, our fiscal year for Walmart is February. February to February. So in the upcoming, what do you guys think about that bone? That come out right, or should I darken it up? The blade looks sick. I don't know. I'm going to add a little bit more dark back here on the claw part, but I don't know about that bone itself. Oh, so anyway, Walmart has decided that all its associates should... Thanks, Dustin. All the associates should make a certain amount of standing living. Like when I started at Walmart, every 6 months you got a 50-cent raise for 2.5 years. And no matter what your position was, you got that. Inside the store, it wasn't like that, because I work for a distribution center. Inside the stores, it wasn't like that. I try to let the shade pull up in areas and then draw it down, so that way it looks like a cloth. You guys think I pulled that off? You know how a cloth will get dirty and it's not always the same color. I don't know. I kind of like the pencil. Let me see what that looks like once the shade dries. We'll see what that pencil would come out for. Then, like I said, we'll let this shade dry, and then we got to do a lot of we'll do a lot of different detailing in the coming videos. What was I going to say? Yeah, but anyway, they are going to give the stores, they're going to give the store associates that make minimum wage an even $11. So what sucks is some of the associates in the store have been there for 20 years. They're only going to get like a 10 or 15 cent raise, you know, because I think some of them are at $10.85 or something like that for your long-term associates. But say your new hires, they're not getting hired in at minimum wage anymore. They're going to get hired in at, you know, walking in the door at $11 an hour. I don't know what their raises will entitle after that, because I don't work for the store. This guy keeps his blade sharp. Maybe not rust free, but he keeps it sharp. So we're going to do this. And so what Steve's post was that since Walmart agreed to give everybody a raise, that what they're going to do now is start letting people go, closing stores and stuff like that. I know in my location, we've been growing. My DC has been serving more stores, so much so that they've asked help from other DCs to come in and help get some of these other stores that have been starting up. Now I'm going to dry the brush off and just use some of the paint that I have on there to whisk up to make it look not so rusted. Get some variation in there. And then once everything dries, the rust will come back a little bit. I might have to go back over that. I might have went too dark. So Steve's post was, let me get back on subject. So with the raise coming, Steve's post, he put that now Walmart was going to be, cutting jobs because of the thing. And on my side of it, what they've been doing, say you're a part-timer at the store. I mean, it's not all true. Some positions were getting cut in hours, but it's like if you're a retiree and you only want to work Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, just 3 days a week, you can't come in and work. They're making it to where you can't come in and work 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. They're changing your schedule, and if you can't work it, then you'll be what they call displaced, or better yet, fired. But what they're saying is, I'm not going to work you part-time when there's not the personal flow in the building. So if you want to work part-time, you can have a job here at Walmart, but, you're going to have to work, your hours are going to have to be 1 to 4, where there's more flow of people, and which is understandable, you know what I mean? I would love to go into work and just stand still and get paid, but it doesn't work that way, Go back over, Dustin, I'm going back over the blade just a little bit. Just a very shy little bit. That way it gives it the surface rust back in it, and I still get the shine of the blade. Something like that. Oop. Come on, focus, you big dum-dum. And then as soon as all the shade dries, I'll go back in there and then I'll highlight. Let me get this one. You can see where I went back in there and I highlighted some of the folds. You see it really good when I pull it up close, but when it's down here you don't see it. And then I want to go back in there and see how I've re-highlighted the horns. I'll have to redo the skulls and the horns right here like that. Then it just gives it some depth and some stuff like that. I kind of like the pencil look now that this is drying. Kind of gives it a little fade, but I don't know if I should go back in there. We'll discuss that in a minute. But back to Steve's comment. Steve had posted up there that they're closing distribution centers, they're going to be closing stores, they're going to be doing this, that, and the other. That is not true. That was just what the hype is and stuff like it. So they're not closing. What they're doing is they're putting people in place for the peak hours. Gonna do more stocking in the middle of the night instead of during the day when you people are trying to shop. They're going to try to, make it more accessibility, but they're giving everybody a good pay. Dustin, these are Warhammer. I'm working on Age of Sigmar. What I'm doing now are Plague Monks. I got a whole set of, yeah, I did a size comparison a minute ago of 135th armor guy, military guy, against one of these figures. I also got the whole set of I also went and got this whole set, the No Fear set. Oh shit! Oh, thought I knocked over my water. You guys remember the day I was doing a live show and I caught my detail box on fire? Sometimes I'm a klutz. So I got this set here. I'm actually been playing the game with my 8-year-old boy. He's really loving it. But inside this set here was 31 miniatures, and I built it so he could play the game. But look, Dustin, you'll enjoy it, because these right here, they show, for being a little figure, man, they are full of detail. What I really like is, I really like the Death Guard and the Plague Marines and stuff like that. Look at all the little gadgets and stuff I get to paint when I start painting these. You know, the skulls and the guns, and they're just loaded with detail. Look at that decaying knife. And then, you know, right here is a captain. Look at all the detail within this captain that we get to paint when we get to it. But I bought this so my son can play the game, all that chainmail. These are going to be awesome. And then they got, I like this great big old gun that this guy has. And these right here are what would be called monotone, like I was talking about the great unclean one. Everybody that builds these are 28 millimeter, Dustin. Everybody that buys this kit or builds these, if you're not doing conversions, basically all you're going to see is paint differences, the different styles people paint, because they're a monotone build. You can only build them this way. This guy here's got a big old gun, and look at that spider fly hanging from his gun. Dude, these are full of detail. He's got a single eye. Got to get this bone painted, and then he's got all that chainmail. These are going to be a blast to paint and build. But right now, like I said, I'm playing the game with my son until he gets bored. Here's the Poxwalkers. Dude, they're going to be gross and just full of details, what I like about it. Fairly expensive. You're looking at almost $100 for some of these sets. But like I said, I get 30. You get 31 figures. This guy by itself, if you was to go buy this bloated float drone by himself, he's a $40 kit. But it came in this box set. This captain here is $20 by himself, like $25. The Primaris captain, he's $25 by himself. But look at the detail you get. Look at the chain. He's got bones in the box. All his boots are done. Look at the bullet rack coming into him. The gun. He's got one of them wrist shield guns. Little bitty skull up here. I mean, we can't get this much detail in a 1/25th scale engine bay on some kits. But look how far Games Workshop can go. All the little nuts and bolts on the back of his backpack, another little skull, the ripples, the edging on the banners. It took me a while to conceive the idea of doing Games Workshop figures when you can buy a Reaper figure for $3 or $4. And then you start really seeing the detail. These guys are jet flying guys. They got jets right there. The wings come out. And just look how much detail I'm drilling out the gun holes and out, you know. I still get to play with my son, but I'm still working on him here and there. Since he likes to play the game right now, I don't know the game. I'm trying to learn the game. I went and got the monks for Idic Beer's painting challenge. But, I mean, if you guys are interested in pushing yourself, look at the detail and stuff. And then there's a guy now, I was watching a guy from Spain build some of these. He's got some Primarchs, I think if it is. They're a little bit bigger than these guys because they're a higher rank in Warhammer. I think they're just a little bit bigger. He's taken clear acrylic rod. He's drilling out the hole and he's putting the rod out about like this long, but he's keeping some of it clear. He's painted this part of the gun. He's painted this part of a gun, say, a green color, so it looks like when the bullet is coming out, he's got it clear, and then he's got some green, and then the whole end of it is green to make it look like the bullet is traveling. There's some good conversions out there of this stuff, and they're plastic. You can manipulate them, molest them, and switch stuff as much as you can, and or as much as you want to. But look at the Death Guard stuff. Look at this. All this energy pack, and I'm loving the little flies everywhere. If you read the lore, which would be kind of like the story behind the figure, if you read the lore, these guys are decaying. They got disease everywhere, and so they are covered by flies, pestilent flies. Look at that staff. Got a skull with some spikes through it. These are just going to be a blast to paint. But like I said, right now I'm playing with my boy. Let him enjoy the game for a little bit. As soon as he's done playing, I'll give all these guys a good wash. Amazing detail. You ain't lying, Dustin. I'll give these guys a good wash, and then this right here will be another painting project. But look, like I said, you know, it's an expensive venture into figure painting and hobby. You can buy one figure. They've ranged from $15 to $60, depending upon what that figure's value is in the game. Unlike a model car kit where we go to the store, we know most of Revell stuff is $25 to $30 a kit, and you know, you pick which car you want the day you go there. These are bought on the way Warhammer prices these. They are bought on the level that they bring into the game. Within your game book and stuff, your figures have what, if you guys ain't familiar with Warhammer, they have what's called stuff like that. They have gaming stats, and depending upon how they move, what their weapon skill is, what their ballistic skill is, what their stamina is, what their toughness is, what their wound roll is, you know, how many guys they bring into a unit, and it shows you their specials. It shows you the range of their weapons. This is how the figures are sold. You get these pestilent monks that I have there. There's 20 of them. Their value is not that great to the game separately, but as a group of, say, let's say like 100, these guys are building 100 of these to take them to a game. If you guys are interested, do some search. Just YouTube or Google. Armies, you know, stuff like that, and you can see some battle reports, and these guys are filling up the tables full of figures and miniatures. It's a great pastime. You'll really enjoy it. So let's see what we got now. After all this stuff here is drying, it's getting a lot drier. We'll do a recap, see what this looks like. Now, I'm going to let it set up over the weekend, and then I'll come in and do some highlighting and doing some stuff. Yeah, go over there and check it out. Dustin, even if you don't find the aspect of the game appealing, which, I'll be honest, I've watched the game. I've got to set in on a few games when some of the guys are at the shop playing. If you have a Games Workshop itself, you can go in there, Dustin, and they have some free miniatures. Where are they? They'll have one of these guys for free and one of these guys for free. And you can go in there and sit down and paint them. You can use their paints. They have an in-store thing of paints. And really, Games Workshop, if you have a legit Games Workshop in your area, they have a great big table for gaming. They have a table for building. They have a table for painting. I've been in there a time or two just to work on miniatures while other guys are playing games. They, I've learned stuff from other painters while they've been there. I changed this. I put a Grok head on there just to make it a Nurgle theme. But man, they're into promoting the hobby, and they'll tell you straight off the get-go, even in their books. They'll tell you straight, and there's some great artwork, you know what I mean? But they'll even tell you in the book right here, Warhammer is a great hobby, even if you're just into playing the game. And what's it say? Warhammer is a tabletop game in which you command an army of mighty warriors, but it is also a wide-range hobby that includes collecting, building, and painting Citadel miniatures. And that's one thing that the shop really promotes is getting in there, building with your community, painting with your community, playing with your community. And I would suggest going there, checking it out. You'll see some cool stuff, both from, now the Age of Sigmar stuff is what they call their fantasy, and 40K is what they call their, or Warhammer. Well, this is fantasy, and this is Warhammer. So I don't know the difference, but you'll see some great looking kits. Like I said, I've already done one set of the easy to do Pock-Walkers. I've done all the Nurgle Plague Bears, their Herald, their Nurgling, their Plague Drones. I picked up the Lord of Plague, which is a standalone figure. He was $20. I've done the Chaos Cultists. Now I'm doing the Pestilence, Scavians. We've done, and I got the No Fear stuff. So, I mean, it went from I want to try it to me having a whole second hobby into figure painting. So, before I get off here, yeah, 40K, the store has two sides. Like if you walk into My Games Workshop, you walk in, and right when you walk in, the whole center section of the building is a gaming table here for Age of Sigmar. And then they have a whole middle section that's for building and painting for builders. And then the last section of the room is a big table full of stuff for people to play 40K, or they can play Necromunda, Shadespire. There's all kinds of different games within Citadel, within Games Workshop, I should say. And then on the left side of my building that I go to, it's all Age of Sigmar stuff. And then on the right side, it's all Warhammer stuff. And then at the end of the building, at the end of the building where you buy stuff, is usually the Shadespire and Necromunda stuff, because they're two different games. But you'll see hundreds and hundreds of different kits in there. Search eBay. You can search eBay. You can search Miniature Market. There's a lot of different ones. Dustin, since you do a lot of sharing and hanging out over at the Migos page, I don't know if Andreas would know, but I bet Hobbyman Mike would know some of the other sites to pick up the Warhammer stuff. I'm pretty sure Hobbyman Mike would know. But let's recap this real quick before I get off here. I didn't plan on being on here this long, but I get to talking. So here's what we done today. We did some washing on the banner. Basically, we worked on the banner. Come on, this thing will not focus. There it goes. And we'll come back next time, and we'll do some highlighting and some other stuff. But I plan on doing 4 a week. My week starting Wednesday. So we'll get one more done, and I should stay on top of it by Wednesday. And then but then the bases, like I said in the other video, my bases are just small pieces of wood. I put cork on it. If you play the game legally, you have to stay within a certain amount of the bases. The bases run from 100 millimeter for big stuff, 60, 45, 35, 25, and then some smaller 10s and 15s, but that's for little bitty stuff. But this is what it looks like if it was on the base running into battle. I just used the cork stuff, easier to hold than trying to hold this and whatnot. But I hope you guys enjoyed today. Thanks for your questions that I did manage to answer. I didn't want to be rude. I kind of wanted to stay having this video concerned on to Nick's 2018 Get It Painted Challenge. So the next time we come up, we'll finish highlighting this one and we'll move on to number 4. Thank you guys all for your time today. Appreciate you guys supporting my channel. Please give Nick, please go give Nick some support. Like I said, it might not be your cup of tea, but go over there, leave a like. If you see something that interests you, subscribe to him. Don't forget scaledworld.net. We're always eager to post your automotive builds going on there. Don't forget some of the other great channels we mentioned today, like Dustin over there at Hinterland Custom. We got the guys over at ISM. You got Styrene Syndicate. You got Red Dragon Model Works. I mentioned Hobbyman Mike. I mentioned Stan. Well, there's Stan. There's Stan. That's Steve. And then, like I mentioned, Andreas. Don't forget our brothers over here at Vision 124. I sent him a very nice package this week. So you'll be seeing some stuff coming up on his channel pretty soon. And you guys all stay warm. Like I said, it is freezing bejeezins over here. This is Minnie. I had a long day with you guys. Thank you, and I'm out.